This video contains all the ingredients needed for a perfect storm. But let's start from the beginning. Ben's wife had parked their Model X in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. She was safely inside a store at the time, but the cameras on their parked Tesla captured some destruction. People were walking around the parking lot and shopping, but the first sign of trouble was rain starting to pick up. Next, the electricity went out, and seconds later, the wind picked up. The wind got so strong that small objects started flying around in the parking lot. Eventually, bigger and bigger objects were being picked up and carried around the lot. Look at this guy rushing to his car for safety. Luckily, he managed to get inside just as a tornado touched down. The tornado was so strong that it was moving cars in the parking lot and objects were flying everywhere.
Wham bam! Rock you like a hurricane. Are you ready, man? Teslacam. I hope you were satisfied.
Emiliano was driving his Model S with autopilot engaged in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. He admits that he took his eyes off the road for a second to look at the Tesla's screen. While doing so, he missed seeing this girl who was approaching the pedestrian crossing. Luckily, autopilot was paying attention and stopped the car just in time as the girl started to cross the road. Emiliano says the girl looked impressed and thanked him for stopping. Of course, maybe she was actually thanking autopilot. Tristan was driving his Model X on the Garden State Parkway in Cranford, New Jersey, when he noticed cars up ahead swerving to avoid a wrecked car in the leftmost lane. Several of the cars lost control and crashed as they were trying to avoid the accident. As Tristan came closer, he saw that they were actually trying to avoid a woman who had been ejected from the wreck and was lying in the middle of the road. He quickly moved his Tesla to block traffic and protect the woman from getting run over. Tristan activated his hazard lights and started waving at approaching cars to slow down. As soon as he was sure that all cars behind him had stopped, he got out to check on the woman. It turned out she was a nurse. She was conscious and able to speak, but she had both a broken arm and a broken leg. Tristan calmed her by holding her hand while he called 911. In the meantime, the drivers who had lost control while avoiding the wreck started reversing back to the crash site. The driver of the black Lexus was a Union County Sheriff's officer, and he also called in the accident before directing traffic around the crash site. Seconds later, a doctor with a first aid kit stopped and checked on the woman. Tristan kept holding her hand and promised that he wouldn't leave her side. Next, a pickup truck stopped and an off-duty emergency medical technician jumped out and headed to the crash site. He was wearing shorts in the middle of a cold January. This just confirms that medical workers are in fact superheroes. Moments later, first responders arrived. The doctor and the sheriff's officer cleared a path for them to come through. The emergency responders just kept on coming. New Jersey State Police, Cranford Police, ambulance, fire department, even tow trucks. It's crazy to see all these people running around while Tristan stays with the woman the entire time. Tristan found it very lucky for the woman that an EMT, a doctor, and a sheriff's officer all happened to stop within 1 minute of the accident. Based on her vehicle having a flat tire, he speculates it might have blown out and caused the accident, but he's not sure. The police still haven't determined the cause. The EMT in the black shorts knew the other EMTs who were arriving and even directed the firefighters on what to do. Tristan says he doesn't consider himself a hero. He just did what he hopes someone would do for him if he was ever in a similar situation. John was driving his Model 3 on his way home in Houston, Texas when he heard a roaring engine noise up ahead. Watch what happened next. The Corvette in the opposite lane slid and hit a tree with such impact that the tree fell over. The force of the hit even pulled the roots out of the ground. John pulled over to make sure everyone was okay. Miraculously, the driver of the Corvette walked away from the crash. John couldn't confirm it, but to him it looked like the Corvette driver was racing the Dodge from the stoplight. Unfortunately, his windshield was hit by debris from the Corvette, so he approached the driver to ask him for his insurance information, but the Corvette driver offered to pay for the damage out of his own pocket instead.